We are in February now. It's the month of love and romance. And me, an avid book reader who never reads romance, I have decided to read some romance books this month. While I was thinking which book I should pick up for February romance reads, one name came up all the time. It keep popping up. And that name is Miss Colleen Hoover. Now, I haven't read any of her books. I have seen this book over and over on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. Unfortunately, in India, I cannot watch TikTok because TikTok is banned. But I know it is very popular in TikTok as well. So I am so curious to know what the whole hullabulla, as we say in India, or the whole hype about Colin Hoover is. So I decided to find out, and what better month than the month of love and romance? So I picked up this book from Amazon. It ends with us. I have no idea what this is about. I know this is romance. I hope this is romance. But I have read, oh yeah, wait. I have read one book by Colleen Hoover, which is Verity, and definitely not a romance. It was kind of a thriller. It was an okay book, not great or anything. It was an average book. I hope this is not. In fact, I've heard some very problematic things about Colin Hoover's books as well. So I am treading lightly, but at the same time, I'm excited to find out what the hype is all about. Sometimes the one who loves you is the one who hurts you the most. Yeah, that's true. Lily hasn't always had it easy, but that's never stopped her from working hard for the life she wants. She's come a long way from the small town in Maine where she grew up. She graduated from college, moved to Boston, and started her own business. So, when she feels a spark with a gorgeous neurosurgeon named Ryle Kincaid, everything in Lily's life suddenly seems almost too good to be true. Ryle is assertive, stubborn, and maybe even a little arrogant. Basically, an ass, huh? He's also sensitive, brilliant, and has a total soft spot for Lily. But Ryle's complete aversion to relationship is disturbing. As questions about her new relationship overwhelm her, so do thoughts of Atlas Corrigan, her first love and a link to the past she left behind. He was her kindred spirit, her protector. When Atlas suddenly reappears, everything Lily has built with Ryle is threatened. Oh, okay, so this is kind of a love triangle, maybe. Yeah. With this bold and deeply personal novel, Colin Hoover delivers a heart-wrenching story that breaks exciting new ground for her as a writer. It Ends With Us is an unforgettable tale of love that comes at the ultimate price. So basically, she has to choose between Atlas, who is the first love of her life, and then Ryle, who is kind of an ass. I think I know whom she should go with. This is going to be a reading log. You will get updates from me as and when I go through it. All right, it's the next day, and I was not able to get much reading done, unfortunately, because it's a work week, work and all that. I couldn't put in much time, but I did cover a few pages and I have comments. Please keep in mind, I am not a huge reader of romance. I think I have read like 2 romance books in my entire life. This is a story about this girl, Lily. Her name is Lily Blossom Bloom. She meets this guy on a rooftop, a complete stranger, well dressed, really handsome, like bulked up, very well built and all that. They kickstart a conversation. They're having this conversation, and where they are from, what they are doing, where they work, and their family background. And both of them are kind of distressed because of what's been happening in their life. Her father just passed away, and he just lost one of his patients because he is a neurosurgeon. So this all comes out during the first 10 or 20 minutes of conversation between these two complete strangers. The conversation takes a very weird turn. They want to talk about some things about their own life so that the other person feels a little bit better. So like shitty things in their life so that the other person feels better. They share a couple of things, and so she says something like really nasty, that she gave a very nasty eulogy for her father. And then he's like, okay, I cannot top that. And she's like, oh, no, yes, you can. Don't make me feel like the worst person out of the two of us. Tell me the most recent thought you've had that most people wouldn't say out loud. Bear in mind, they're complete strangers meeting for the first time in a very dark, dingy, isolated rooftop. Okay. And he says, he pulls his hand up behind his head and looks me straight in the eye. I want to you. Okay, yeah, that might be the truth because as guys, you don't know what goes in their, mind, but you don't say that to a complete strange woman all alone standing in a very isolated rooftop. How is she supposed to feel? And what does Miss Lily do? I'll tell you what she does. My mouth falls open, then I clamp it shut again. He says, "Oh, you asked for the most recent thought, so I gave it to you. You're beautiful. I'm a guy. If you were into one night stands, I would take you downstairs to my room and I would you." I can't even look at him. His statement makes me feel a multitude of things all at once. Then it continues in a weird tangent altogether, but still, if it was me, I would just take myself away from that situation. He definitely is some kind of pervert, and definitely he is an arrogant person from the previous conversation. I know that Colleen Hoover's books and this book in particular has drawn some flack from people for various reasons, and I'm sure that I haven't reached any controversial part yet, problematic part yet, because I'm only 50 pages in, but I still have problems with some things. Like some things are really ticking me off, and one thing is that, okay, so this lady protagonist, her name is Lily. She, using her inheritance, she has set up a flower shop. She's basically, cleaning the place and bouncing off ideas of a person she has just recently met, a very friendly neighborhood lady or something. They're bouncing off ideas like, how to decorate the place, what should be the theme of the place and all that. How about we go for dark themes, like, dark modes? And so she says, okay, dark purple or black flowers and all that, which is fine, totally understandable. Just because you're running a flower shops, it doesn't have to be stereotypical and always spring themed and light and pink and white and all that. You can have your own thing going on because it's a business, and if people like it, people will buy it and your business will succeed. That's fine, right? Trust me, I'm one person who can totally understand the appeal for darker palettes, because in all of my rooms, one wall is accent wall, so all the other three walls will be totally pale and beige and light colors, and the fourth wall will always be an accent wall. That's the case with all of my rooms, including kitchen. So I understand the appeal for darker themes. However, there is this one thing that really pissed me off, which did not make sense. And she says that there are floral shops on every corner for people who love flowers, but what about a floral shop which caters to all the people who hate flowers? Like, if you hate flowers, you don't have to cater flowers to people who hate flowers. I just don't get the idea behind it. I mean, if you have somebody who hate flowers, cater something else to them, like candles and books, or I don't know, coffee or whatever they like. People who hate flowers hate flowers. They don't hate light flowers and go for dark flowers. They will still hate dark flowers because they hate flowers. Doesn't make sense to me. Okay, I was wrong. Remember, I said that, I was just a few pages in, and maybe I haven't reached the problematic part. I'm 20 pages further in, so that means I am at page 70 now. I am disgusted, I'm fuming, I'm offended at I don't know how many levels. I don't know why I'm continue reading this, but I have promised myself I will read romance for Valentine's month. So that's what I'm doing, at least one. Okay, so this guy, what's his name? I don't even, Ryle. He is, oh my god, the guy whom Lily met on the terrace. He meets her in her apartment, uninvited. He is there uninvited. She's not expecting him, and he says that, hey, I want to prepare for my exam and I cannot concentrate, I cannot focus, just have sex with me just one time. I'm like, and she is even considering it. Are these people real? Like, I don't know, I haven't met these kind of people. He says, see, All I can think about is how crazy it feels when I'm near you, and I need you to make it stop, Lily. Please make it stop just once. That's all it will take, I swear. He's still panting a little and his eyes are still frantic, but he's looking at me pleadingly. And then they go on talking for some time, and then he's like, I'm really good at it, Lily. He says with a grin, you will barely even have to do any work. What's this guy's problem? He is a predator, but in a much upfront, arrogant way. I mean, who talks like that? Which guy? And how can he be a successful neurosurgeon? Why hasn't nobody filed a complaint against him? Because he clearly is a creep. He's a pervert. I try not to laugh, but his determination is as enduring as it is annoying. I don't see any enduring quality in him right now, as he is this most disgusting character, fictional character I have ever come across. And I am fuming. I'm pissed at this guy and also pissed at this woman, Lily, who is even considering, talking to him or continue talking to him. And then she says this. I don't feel sexy right now, Ryle. I worked all day. I'm exhausted. I smell like sweat and probably taste like dust. If you give me a little while to shower first, I might feel sexy enough to have sex with you. Somebody just... Is this how romance book? You know what? I will recommend you a nice fantasy romance, which is kind of underrated. I have never seen it being talked about in any booktube videos or by any booktubers. So I will recommend that at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that. And that's romance. Okay, so she is now kind of reading her old diary from her teenage years when she was 15. And back then she met a guy called Atlas, who was kind of a homeless guy living in an abandoned house near her home. And she's reminiscing. So this guy basically was her first love. And I wish the maturity that these teenagers showed, these grown-ass adult would show. So I think Colleen Hoover purposefully wrote these hateful, arrogant, annoying characters. So I'm kind of a little bit happy about how things are turning out now. So I'm relieved that this book is not all bad. Happy Valentine's Day, guys! So I made it. I finished the book. So I agree. Initially, it was a little bit rough for me to get into this book because I thought that the premise was ridiculous, the characters were unbelievable, but Miss Colleen Hoover had me fooled, because the moment the main character Lily, she starts reading her diary where she has written about her first love, Atlas, that completely changed. I don't know how different each of those encounters were. So Lily's encounter with Ryle and Lily's encounter with Atlas. I really like how that teenage love story played out, and how mature Atlas was, how lovable Atlas was, how relatable he was. These characters that Miss Colleen Hoover has written as teenagers were much more adult than the actual adults in this book. For example, how Ryle came on to Lily was so artificial and cringy. I just couldn't read through it. At the moment Atlas came into the story, I was just completely engrossed. Guys, my lighting game is a little bit off today. I don't know why, and my skin is also kind of really, I'm not having a good skin day today. This book has definitely a lot of trigger warning. It has trigger warning for suicide. It has trigger warning for abuse, like physical abuse, sexual abuse, domestic violence. I read the author's note at the end of this book, after finishing the book, of course, and I understand why she wrote Ryle's character the way she wrote him, because Ryle is supposed to be a likable character. He's successful, he is really loving, he's dedicated, he met the right woman and changed his perception about relationships, because he understood that, this woman has a lot more to offer him. And, from being a one night stand kind of guy, a playboy guy, he transforms himself into a husband material. And when actually these domestic violence kind of thing starts happening, we also see that that's because of the trauma that he has gone through in his past. But at the same time, I think Miss Hoover handled it so well that, she made sure that even though we feel sympathy towards him, just like Lily, it's not okay to forgive abuse. It's not okay to live in a relationship which is, violent, which can put you in danger, put others in the family in danger. Also, I love the way that she handled this dilemma most of the abuse victims go through in relationships. People tend to ask questions like, why didn't she leave? And that is quite well explored in this book. It's a very simple book. There is nothing extraordinary, but at the same time, it handles these subjects, and you understand, at least the author attempts to bring these topics to the forefront. Why you are still continuing in an abusive relationship, you have this inertia that is preventing you from moving on or taking a step in the right direction and running away from that relationship, or ending that relationship and ending the abuse. One is because of the fear of uncertainty of future. Some women are not equipped. In fact, they don't have a job. They might not be independent enough. And even if they are independent enough, sometimes in society like in India, we have the social pressure, stigma associated with women who come out of relationship, let it be breakups or divorce. There is so much of social stigma associated with it. So there are many factors why women, or anybody, like for that matter, no matter the gender, they hesitate or step back from, taking step forward and, moving in the right direction. Like I said in the beginning, there are many things that were so cringy. I did not like Ryle's character. I did not understand the relationship at all. Now when I look back, I understand it's definitely very physical. In the beginning it was a physical attraction, and then later on both of them understood each other, and then Ryle figured out that, this is the woman that he wants to spend his life with. I understand that now. If you ask me to pick one thing that I love about this book, it's Atlas. Atlas, her first love. So this was, like I said, one of my very first romance novels. Before this, I think I have read only The Fault in Our Stars, as if you think about romance novels. To be frank, I wasn't swept off my feet. This is not a spectacular, amazing book or anything. I think I would give this a 3-star, more towards 2.5, but so yeah, between 2.5 and 3 stars, because the writing is quite plain. For a book that has garnered such a high rating, with so many ratings, in fact, that is, I expected much more. It was a good average read. I told you earlier that I will share a nice romance book with you. With my limited, indulgence into the world of romance as a genre, I would like to recommend this book to you. So it is a fantasy romance. That's how I would categorize it as. It's actually a book series, which is the Elemental Mystery series by Elizabeth Hunter. You can look it up on Goodreads. The first book is called A Hidden Fire. So basically this is about this guy who is around 500 years old. His name is Giovanni Vecchio. I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. And a girl, a librarian, her name is Beatrice Di Novo. And they fall in love, but there is this very fantastical or paranormal element to their way this world exists, and how they meet and how their destinies are connected. I was so attached to these characters while I was reading it. I read it like 10 years ago or something, but I still remember the intensity of the romance, the beauty of the romance in this book. Me, who generally is not a fan of romance genre, I was absolutely floored by the romance in this book. I haven't read all the books. I read only the first 3 books, so which are A Hidden Fire, This Same Earth, and The Force of Wind. Surprisingly, this is the first time I'm looking it up on Goodreads, and I'm surprised that there are so many ratings, and the ratings are really good. So for the first book, there are 26,237 ratings, and it has got 4.03 stars. The second book has 15,355 ratings, and it has 4.24 stars, and so on. I haven't seen anybody talking about these books or the series, so that's why I thought maybe, guys, if you're interested, please check it out. I was really impressed. I really enjoyed reading them. So I hope you guys also will like it. Happy Valentine's Day once again. I will see you soon in another video. This is Angie signing off. Bye bye.